Our natural boundaries, right? A lot of countries, a lot of towns, a lot of states have as their natural borders a river. This river is no different. When I mentioned back in 1666, 351 years ago, when Robert Treat purchased what was Newark, again, we were stuck all the way up. The furthest bit away from Newark, but still part of Newark, was what became Nutley. We were up in the northeast area, the northeast corner. So we were part of, and that boundary, that northeast corner boundary, as I had mentioned, is exactly where this third river, if you were to follow it to where it dumps into the Passaic River, that's where the border is. It's actually around where Route 3, sort of where Route 3 and the railroad bridge cross the Passaic River now. That's where this river winds up. This was always a land in dispute. You had the English coming up, the Essex County sort of people coming up from Newark. You had the Dutch coming down from the Patterson region, and they both really, they lived peacefully here, but this was an area that wasn't quite all English, wasn't quite all Dutch. The house that we're going to visit in a couple of minutes has elements. It's an early building. It's got some elements of Dutch and of English design in it as well. So this, and I just want you to focus, show them the top one here. And if you were to follow right in the corner here, the red lines here is basically the outline of Nutley today. And you see the area here on the upper left is where the third river, which goes all the way up here above the line, then back down and empties in. That's where the Belleville, the Nutley, the Newark, that's exactly where that corner was. And we were up in the little corner. Originally Nutley is, Newark is this big area down here. They begin to, and by the way, 1812, they cut it in half, north-south, and that's when you get Bloomfield. All right? Then they cut Bloomfield in half in 1829, east-west, and you get Belleville and Bloomfield. Then they cut Belleville in half, north-south again, and what was North Belleville for a while is what we know of today as Nutley. It was Franklin. They hated Belleville so much that they wouldn't even accept the name North Belleville after a while, and they declared themselves to be Franklin. The impetus was that, at least for the Franklin or for the Nutley-Belleville split, was that we were the northern half of town that was paying as much taxes, but none of our roads were being paved. All of the government output, the government outlay of money seemed to be for the southern part of that township. So they decided that they were going to do on their own. And in 1874, we then split from Belleville. And again, we don't call ourselves North Belleville anymore. We become Franklin. And then when Franklin changes the form of government in 1902, they wind up taking on the name Nutley. So we've been Nutley from 1902 until now. But again, we were Newark for longer than we were anything else. So this river had a big boundary in what was the entire Newark purchase. And what was funny is if you take a look, what was in dispute for about a century and a half, and it was finally settled in the late 1800s in a court of law, was whether the line and the way that the original 1666 tract read is from the Yattacaw or the Third River to the Watchung Mountain. So this shows you the final decision, which was the straight line. For the longest time, the Dutch argued that it should go along the river itself.
You want the history of media and nothing. Like when that was signed.
What do you want to do? Well, we have money for it. We got to watch our money. But I mean, those stories like the story of Jimmy, they get some fun.
That was owned by an individual named Ben and then it was sold to Captain Pierce, I mentioned during the Second War here. We owned the property all around here, both sides of this river. When we finally decided to sell the property, this was the natural split. So he remained owning all the property this side of the river, and he sold it in 1783 to his son-in-law, actually, who was the first Breland to own that house on that side. So from 1666